Welcome to Rise IAS Online. Today, in the part of the Rise IAS Online, we are going to discuss about the modern Indian history. Modern Indian history starts with the coming of Europeans to India. So this coming of Europeans, they started from 1498 onwards. First Europeans came to India, Portuguese, they started to discover sea route to India. Now coming to the point of the Europeans and the advent of Europeans. When Europeans entered into the India or when entered into the Andhra Pradesh, we are also entered into the modern age. So in the 5th century AD, 5 Europeans they entered into India for the purpose of trade and commerce. They came to India for the purpose of trade and commerce. So they were Portuguese, Dutch, English, Danes, French. First came to the India were the Portuguese, next Dutch, next English, next Danes, next French people. So like this, 5 Europeans they came to India. And whenever they came to India, they entered into the Indian internal affairs and also Indian rulers. They interfered in the internal affairs of the Indian rulers and also administration of the Indian rulers. So later, they dominated the Indian politics. And the English East India Company, British East India Company defeated all the Europeans as well as all Indians. It established a big empire in India, that is English East India Company. So this is a major change in turn the history of India. It turned the history of India, it became the modern Indian history. Now we will first discuss about the advent of the Europeans and their political establishment. So coming to the point of the background of Europeans. Before coming to the background of the coming of Europeans, we have to discuss the trade between the India and European countries. The trade relation or economical relation between the India and the European countries. We have, since from the ancient period, we have a trade relation with the European countries. Like even during the time of the Indus Valley civilization period, we have touch with Greek people. Greeks they called Indus cotton was a Sindhu. By this time we have contact with the Persian country and also other European countries. But during the time of the post-Mauryan period, whenever Alexander he shown the way to the India, after that there occurred many European people and also other European countries people, foreigners. Post-Mauryan period, we can call this period as politically vacuum, but more foreign countries they came to India. More foreigners they came to India. They ruled northwestern part of India. This part of India and western part of India was under the control of the foreigners. By this time, developed foreign trade to India. So this post-Mauryan period comes under the Satavahanas period also. Roman trade became very important during the time of the Satavahana period. Arikamedu in India, it was a very famous trade center for the European countries. We find more Roman coins here also. More and more Roman coins were found at Arikamedu, that is located in Tamil Nadu. The large number of Roman coins were found. So we know these evidences from the foreign visitors. Foreign visitors they came to India, like even Ptolemy in the long period he wrote about India, and he made the Indian geographical areas in his book Geography. He mentioned that Mysolia, it is the biggest trade center in India, biggest port of India, Mysolia. From Mysolia to the other countries, we are going to export Indian cloth. So like this, we have touch with the European countries. But what happened in the trade, coming to the point of the changes of the trade during this period? How change has been occurred in the trade and commerce since from the ancient period? Like coming to the point of the foreign, I was coming to the point of the Indus Valley civilization period. Yeah, IVC period, people they used to maintain more trade and commerce with Persians and Greeks. So after that, Alexander, 326 AD, Alexander, he came to India. Alexander, he established a big empire and he invaded on India. He occupied many territories on India. He came to India via Khyber Bolan passes. Khyber Bolan passes. So Alexander, he made Khyber Bolan passes as a road, as a route to the India. Bolan is a very wide pass. Bolan is very wide pass to come to India from Western countries. So many Western countries, they came to India via Bolan Pass. Bolan Pass is very famous for the trade of that period. It was the only way to the India of that period. But after the post-Mauryan period, during the Gupta's period, during the time of the Gupta's period, we have trade and commerce with Southeast Asian countries. During the Gupta's period, Southeast Asian country trade increased than the Western country because Holy Roman Empire was declined. Around 329, first half of the 4th century AD, Holy Roman Empire was declined. Because of that, trade with Western countries damaged during the Gupta's period, increased trade to the Eastern countries, Southeast Asian countries. Gupta period, post-Gupta period, what happened? 712 AD, Arabs they came to India. Arabs they came to India and they invaded India in 712 AD. Since from 700 to the almost 700 to 1453, this period, Indian trade with Europeans was continued by the Arabs. So Arabs they became mediators between the European countries and Indian countries. This is Arabia. So this is Arabia. We can come to this is Arabia. In the year 712 AD, Arabs they came to India, they invaded India, they occupied Sindh. In India, they occupied Sindh area. So, Arabs after that they did not concentrated on the extension of the empire, but they become very popular. These Arabs they become very popular in the point of the extension of their trade. Extension of their trade and commerce. So these Arabs they became mediators between the European countries and Asian countries. They become, what is that? Mediators between the European countries and Asian countries. Okay. This happened at that period. It's good. But coming to this point, what happened the next time? Next, what happened? In 1453 AD. In the year 1453 AD, Ottoman Turkish Sultan, he was Muhammad II, Ottoman Turkish Sultan, he occupied Constantinople. Somewhere here it is a Constantinople, somewhere here. Here it is Constantinople. He occupied the Constantinople. Constantinople became part and parcel of the Turkey Empire of that period. Part and parcel of the Turkey Empire. What is Constantinople? Remember that Constantinople became part and parcel of the Ottoman Turkey Empire from 1453 onwards. Then he blocked land route. This route was blocked. This is a land route from China to the European countries. This is a, what is that, land route. We will connect here for the land route, and we can connect to this land route from here also. So this was the land route from Asian countries to the European countries. Asian countries to the European countries. It touches what, where? Constantinople. Constantinople, we have to cross the Constantinople to go to the European countries. This land route was blocked. That's why Europeans, they thought to come to India. What is the need of coming to India? India is very famous for the spices and cloth. Spices and cloth, these two are most important items from exporting from India to the European countries. So there occurred scarcity of the spices and scarcity of the cloth of that period. Indian cloth was very huge demand. The muslin cloth, whichever manufacturing in India, that is especially from Machilipatnam cloth. There is one saying in India, that is what? The sari which is manufactured in Machilipatnam can be folded into the matchbox. Very, very, very thin. It is transparent cloth. This transparent muslin cloth was called as a Yavanika by the Europeans. Yavanas means Europeans, that is Greeks and Romans called as Yavanas of that period. Yavanika, Indian cotton. And black pepper. Black pepper also another important item which is very demand in the European countries, that is Indian black pepper. Indian black pepper. So they sometimes like what is that, Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder, he wrote natural history. Pliny the Elder, he wrote natural history. He used to say that several times. He used to say that in the natural history. In the natural history, Pliny the Elder, he used to say that gold is draining from Rome to India. Why gold? How gold is draining from Rome to India? They used to give equal weight of the gold to the equal weight of the black pepper. Equal weight of the gold to the equal weight of the black pepper. That's why gold is raining to India from the Rome. He said, Pliny the Elder, he said, and he wrote that book, The Natural History. So like that, black pepper is very famous, and also cloth in India is very famous. Along with this, if you come to the point of the Indian territories, this is a western coastal area. This western coastal area is famous for the spices in India. This is eastern coastal area. Eastern coastal area is famous for the cloth in India. This you have to remember. And in the ancient period or medieval period, there are three routes from India to the European countries. One is land route. This is a land route. One is a land route. Another one was this is a sea route. Touches sea. Here Suez Canal was not opened. Remember 1869. 1869, whenever Gandhi born, same year Suez Canal was opened here. Until then, Suez Canal was not opened. This is one route from Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea and the trade. And another route, Persian Gulf, via Persian Gulf, this is another route. Every route maximum they touches to the Constantinople. They touches to the Constantinople. And Muhammad IV, what he did, Muhammad II, what he did, Muhammad II occupied Constantinople. He blocked the land route between the Asian countries to the European countries. Because of that, European countries, they wanted to discover sea route to India. If it is a land route, there was a chance to occupy, chance to close some other persons. That's why here they wanted to discover sea route to India. In that, the first and foremost country of the European, that is Portugal. Portugal was the first country which started to discover sea route to India. Here there is a Portugal, that is there in the Spain and Portugal. Yes, whenever Constantinople was occupied by the Muhammad II, he called that as Istanbul. Now the name of the sea is Istanbul. He blocked the land route between the Asian countries to the European countries. As we discussed earlier, Western India is famous for the spices. Eastern India is famous for the cloth. Kerala is also called a spicy state of India. Machilipatnam, Vinukonda, Koduru, Srikalahasti, these were the important cloth centers in Andhra Pradesh of that period. Indian muslin cloth is called as Yavanika, that already said to you. Europeans, they need spices for the food preservation and also taste. For all the Europeans, depended upon the Asians. For all these, either cloth or spices, for all these Europeans, they completely depended upon the Asian trade. So Portuguese were the first people, those who started trade and commerce to India, to discover sea route to India. Yeah, this is a Portuguese. It just it looks like inserting into the spine. This is Spain, and this is just like inserting into the Spain. So Mediterranean trade was dominated by the Spain and Italy of that period. Beside that, Spain, that is Italy and Spain was dominated that area. So Portuguese started to discover sea route to India because most of these spices or most of the items are not reaching to the Portuguese. By that time, Portuguese king Henry the Navigator, he started a naval college at Lisbon. A naval college. Yes. In the 15th century AD, Portuguese king Henry, he was good navigator. Once he crossed the Mediterranean Sea and also come back. Because people of that period, they were afraid of the sea trade. They were afraid of the sailing. So to eliminate sailing fear, once he went and returned back to fill a great inspiration in the minds of the Europeans. So he crossed the Mediterranean Sea and he came back once. Then he started naval college at Lisbon. And he, after the, starting of the naval college at Lisbon, he was very good in the navigation. That's why he was called as Henry the Navigator. His name was Henry the Navigator. So he started and he invited the people from all sides of the world. Bartholomew Diaz in 1487. Bartholomew Diaz, he started to discover sea route to India. And he started here. According to their knowledge of that period, if they go towards the south, via African Western coastal area, if they go to the south, somewhere they will reach India. Because according to their knowledge, earth looks like a globe. So if you come to the America, end of the America, this is also end of the America. If you cross that, immediately you will come to this place. This is very near to the here. Like that, if they go to the southern way, that is south way, towards the south via western coastal area of African continent. Somewhere they would reach India. That was their idea. So Bartholomew Diaz, he also came to that way and he selected the same way. He started and came to this way. Whenever he reached to the end of the Africa, it is a meeting point of two great oceans, Indian Ocean and also this is Atlantic Ocean. This is a meeting point of two great oceans, Atlantic Ocean and Indus Ocean, Indian Ocean. So that's why whenever two are merging, two are meeting at one place, there occurred too much storms. Because of this too much storms, he said that area is called as Cape of Storms. Cape of Storms. That means Cape is a elevated area. Cape is somewhat elevated area on the water. So Cape of the Storms. This name, who gave this name Cape of the Storms? Bartholomew Diaz. Remember, Bartholomew Diaz, 1498, he started from here and he came to this way and here he stopped because of the storms. That's why that area he kept the name as a Cape of Storms and he returned to the Portugal. So that area is called as Cape of Storms by the Portugal navigator. He was Bartholomew Diaz. After the Bartholomew Diaz, the next person in 1492 AD, Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus, he also started to come to India in the same way, but he diverted here and he reached to this way. This way. This is what called as West Indies. Originally in 1492, Christopher Columbus, he discovered a new world which was not known to the other world. That is a new world, but he said that is India. He argued that was India, and the people, those who are living here, the residential people of here, they are red in color. That's why they are called as Red Indians. He said that Red Indians. So that's why this area, Caribbean islands, Bahamas and the Caribbean islands, this area is called as West Indies. Okay. Christopher Columbus, he did not say that I discovered new area. But later period, Amerigo Vespucci, he wrote about this continent. It was a new continent. This continent, he went and he wrote about this continent. That's why on the name of Amerigo Vespucci, that area is considered as America. Later period it became America. That was the name. After this, next person in 1497, in the year 1497 AD and 1498 AD. 1497, 1498 AD. Vasco da Gama, he started to discover sea route to India, same this way. By this time, James I, Henry was died. James I came to the throne of the Portugal king. He became Portugal king and he kept this. He is not Pope. What is that? James I, he called this as a Cape of Good Hopes. Not Cape of Storms, it is Cape of Good Hopes. He kept that name as Cape of Good Hopes. Next, Vasco da Gama, he started in 1498 from this area, same area. He came to that Cape of Good Hopes here and he was stayed there. They made friendship with Al Masood, a Indian Arab traveler. But Al Masood he did not reveal how to go to the India. They captured the Al Masood, and Al Masood was treated third degree treatment. Finally, they known route from the Al Masood. Al Masood, they said how to come to the Madagascar. This is a Madagascar. Whenever they reached to the Madagascar, they thrown out Al Masood into the Indian Ocean. After that, they went to this way. This is a Calicut. This is Calicut. Like that, 1498, May 1498, May 18th, sorry, May 17th, 1498, May 17th, Vasco da Gama, he reached to the Calicut. Vasco da Gama, he reached to the Calicut. So like this, 1498, Vasco da Gama, he discovered sea route to India. Then after this, started the people coming to India. Yeah, here is Vasco da Gama. He came to India 1498, May 17th, reached the Calicut. With the help of Arab Abdul Majid, he was an Arab traveler. And whenever this Vasco da Gama, he reached to the India, Calicut. That Calicut ruler was King Jamorin. Originally he was called as Raja Manuvikramavarma. His original name was Raja Manuvikramavarma. Whenever he came to the Calicut, that is there in the Malabar coast of the Kerala, the hereditary monarch of Kozhikode, Raja Manuvikramavarma, he was a hereditary monarch of Kozhikode on Malabar coast of the India. He was the first appeared in the writings of Ibn Battuta, that is Raja Manuvikramavarma, or Jamorin, sorry, King Jamorin. King Jamorin, he was appeared first time in the writings of Ibn Battuta. So whatever it may be, Vasco da Gama, he reached to the India. He started to collect some Indian masala spices. Whenever Vasco da Gama came to India, Jamorin from Malayalam, Jamorin was the Kerala ruler. What is the Jamorin? Originally his name was not Jamorin, Raja Manuvikramavarma. Jamorin means Lord of the Sea. How it came into existence? Samudri, Jamodri, Samudri, Jamodri. Like that, they changed that name Jamodri or Jamorin. By this time, Portuguese king was Emmanuel. Whenever Vasco da Gama reached to the India, Portuguese ruler was Emmanuel. By this time, 1498 AD, in the India, India was under the control of the Delhi Sultanate ruler Ibrahim Lodi. And South India in South India, there is a biggest kingdom of that period, Vijayanagara kingdom. Vijayanagara king was Yemmadi Narasimha. In 1400, Vasco da Gama, he left India. He went to the Portugal. He left with cargo of 60 times of his expenses. Whatever he made the expenses to come to India, with that he came along with the 60 times. He he came to the India once, but he got 60 times of benefit. So then Europeans, they started queue to come to India. Okay. Next, coming to the point of the Portuguese power in India. Vasco da Gama, again in 1502, he came to India. First trade center. Portuguese, they established first trade center at Calicut. Whenever they reached to the Calicut, that was the first trade center of the Europeans as well as Portuguese in India. Calicut was the first trade center. In 1502, They also established trade center at Cochin. In the Cochin, they constructed Gama Fort. One fort was constructed. Fort is constructed for the purpose of the protection of people, and Gama Fort will be under the control of one governor. Under the control of one governor. And Cochin was the first headquarters of the Portuguese in India. Within no time, they established their centers in India like Calicut, Cochin, Kannur and other areas. Vasco da Gama, in 1524, Vasco da Gama, he died with malaria at Cochin. He died in India itself. He buried at St. Antony's Church, St. Antony's Church in 1539. He was shifted to the Lisbon. They wanted to turn land route into the sea route. That means until then, land route was the main important route to come to India, but that is via Constantinople. But they turned that sea route into a land route. Sea route is a route to India. That was the Portuguese. So whenever they constructed the Gama Fort, for the Gama Fort administrative system, D. Almeida governor was appointed. In 1503, D. Almeida, he was Portuguese governor. He introduced blue water policy in India. That means making sea route is a important blue water policy. Development of the naval force, development of the sea route in India. D. Almeida opinion, Portuguese was a small country. He opinion that Portuguese is a small country. They cannot establish their power in India. That's why they did not interfere in the internal affairs. They started to develop only sea trade. So better to continue only trade according to the D. Almeida. Later period, Alfonso de Albuquerque. Alfonso de Albuquerque, he came to India as a Portuguese governor. He was second Portuguese governor in India. So Alfonso de Albuquerque, he was a power thirsty and a statesman, war thirsty and power thirsty. So he made alliances with the Vijayanagara rulers of that period. Vijayanagara was very famous rulers of that period. They were ruling from South India. So with the help of this Sri Krishna Devaraya, this guy, who is that Alfonso de Albuquerque, in 1510, he occupied Goa from the Bijapur Sultans of that period. Later, 1511, he occupied Malacca. So initially 1510 he occupied Goa from the Bijapur, and also Malacca occupied from the Bijapur Sultans. But here, what was the pact between the Vijayanagara Empire and Portuguese? How Vijayanagara kingdom is going to give help to the Portuguese? Coming to that point, there was one conclusion during the time of the Alfonso de Albuquerque period. Alfonso de Albuquerque, he promised to the Vijayanagara rulers to send good quality of the horses. So for that is good quality of especially Arabian horses. They promised to send Arabian horses. For that, in India, wherever they are going to wage war or whenever they need help, these Vijayanagara people, they are ready to give help to the Portuguese. Understand this point? Portuguese people, they have to give good quality of the Arabian horses to the Vijayanagara rulers. And Vijayanagara rulers in return, they used to give help to the Portuguese. That was the agreement between the Vijayanagara rulers and Portuguese. Along with this, Alfonso de Albuquerque, he also encouraged to marry Indian women. Especially he persecuted the Muslims. Because Indian native women was in color, dull color, but Muslim woman was in bright color. That's why they encouraged to marry Muslim women. So Portuguese they become rival of the Muslims. Whatever it may be, by 1515 he died. Alfonso de Albuquerque died. But this time was the strongest. Portuguese was very strongest power in India of that period. So after this we can come into the another point. Nunida Kunha, he was governor of the Portuguese. He shifted in 1530. He shifted capital from Goa to Cochin to Goa. Cochin to Goa in the year 1530. Kunha, for the cause of the Dayu, there occurred a talks between the Gujarat ruler of that period. Bahadur Shah was the Gujarat ruler, and Kunha, Nunida Kunha. These two made talks for the Dayu. Kunha, he wanted to occupy Dayu. Bahadur Shah did not accept it. That's why Bahadur Shah was thrown into the Arabian Sea by Kunha. Bahadur Shah died. Bahadur Shah died. Bahadur Shah was killed by the Kunha. Next to after this 1542 to 1545, Martin Alfonso de Souza, he was a Portuguese governor in India. During the de Souza period, Portuguese governor de Souza period, a famous Jesus saint, Francisco Xavier, he came to India as a Christian missionary. It was the first Christian missionary. But this Jesuit Sanskrit Francisco Xavier, he converted many fishermen into the Christianity. Many fishermen into the Christianity. Almost 7 lakhs people he turned into the Christianity. 7 lakhs fishermen on the coastal area of the Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Goa areas. That's why after the death of the Xavier, his mummy preserved in the Goa church. In 1536, Portuguese they got permission from the Muhammad Shah. By that time he was king of Bengal, Muhammad Shah. Then they established trade centers at Chittagong and Chattangin. These two areas they established the trade centers. In 1579, 1580, Portuguese they established trade centers at Hooghly. Akbar, they gave permission from the Akbar. Then they opened a factory at Hooghly. After this, in 1633, Shah Jahan allowed to set up a factory at Bandel, that is Bengal, in the Bengal region. They established trade center at Bengal region also. Like this, Portuguese they established trade centers very soon in several places. Calicut in 1500, Cochin in 1503, Kannanur in 1503, Kelon in 1503, Goa in 1510, Chelium in 1531, Rahole in 1535, Krenganur in 1536, Mangalore in 1568, Hanover in 1568, Dayu in 1539, Surat in 1599, Dauman in the 1599, and only one trade center in UP, that is Machilipatnam, at Machilipatnam, Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, they established only one trade center at Machilipatnam, and first eastern coastal trade center, that is Maliapur, Sandomeria. Why it is called as Sandomeria? So in this area, Saint Thomas, he was killed by the local people long back in 2nd century AD, during the time of the 2nd century AD. And Chittagong, Hooghly, Bundel, these were the eastern coastal areas of the Portuguese in India. So like that, Portuguese, they started several trade centers, and Portuguese, they started their power in India. Along with this, Portuguese, why they started to decline in India? The power of the Portuguese, why they started to decline in India? This was another point. Portuguese were first Europeans came to India in 1498 AD. So they established first trade center at Calicut. And Portuguese, decline of the Portuguese gradually started in the 16th century AD because of the Talikota War. 1565, there occurred Battle of Talikota. In this Battle of Talikota, Vijayanagara kingdom was completely declined. This occurred between Battle of Talikota occurred between Vijayanagara kings and also Bahmani kingdoms. Bahmani kingdom scored victory over the Vijayanagara kingdom. Almost Vijayanagara kingdom was disappeared. So the main support of the Portuguese was disappeared. This is one thing. And in 1631, Hooghly was lost by the Qasim Khan. A Mughal noble, Qasim Khan, he occupied Hooghly, the part of the trade center of the Portuguese in India. That is one thing. And 1613, a major big blow to the Portuguese power in India. In the year 1613, Portuguese was defeated by the British at Gujarat. Till the 1613, Jahangir, Mughal emperor, he was on the side of the Portuguese. Whenever Portuguese was defeated by the British, 1613 onwards, he turned his attention towards the British. Mughal emperor, he started to give support to the British of that period. This is one thing. And in 1616, of this period, Portugal king, he gave his sister Catherine Bonanza to the Charles II, England Prince Charles II married Catherine Bonanza. For this, Portuguese, they gave Bombay as a dowry to the Charles II. Where is Bombay? Remember, where is Bombay? Where is Portuguese? Where is England? That was the status of Indians of that period. Portuguese princess was given to the British, but dowry was there in India. That was the Bombay. That is important for all the examinations. See, in 1739, by this time, Maratha Peshwa was Bajirao I. So Bajirao I brother, he occupied Salsetti Basin, which was related to the Portuguese. Salsetti Basin was not the easy places. They were the places for the fertile lands. Already I said to you, decline of the Vijayanagara Empire. And Portuguese, another most important thing is Portuguese East India Company, they concentrated only in the western part of India. Less concentration was given to the eastern part. So Portuguese established trade centers in the western India itself. They did not concentrate on the eastern India. So by this time, Brazil was discovered. Portuguese, they diverted their attention towards the Brazil. Brazil is the biggest South American country. It is very famous for the coffee production in the world. Brazil. So Jahangir gave permission to the British. Due to their religious intolerance, Indian rulers and people were also became hostile to the Portuguese. Internal weakness and conflict. Finally, Portuguese, they have only Goa, Dayu, Daman in India. After 1947, India got independence. After 1947, August 15th, India got independence. Portuguese, they were there at Goa, Dayu Daman itself. They did not leave India. That's why in 1961, in the year 1961, we conducted Operation Visay. Operation Visay to eliminate Portuguese from the Goa. Finally, we eliminated Portuguese from Goa. By this time, Goa, they made complaint on Indians in UNO's Security Council. But because of the Russia, interference of the Russia, this was became null and void. That you have to remember. Next, importance of the Portuguese in India. What was the importance of Portuguese in India? If you come to that point, Portuguese East India Company, they set up first press 1557. First they established press at Goa, that is printing mission. Printing mission in 1453, printing mission was discovered by John Gutenberg. John Gutenberg, who was a Germany engineer. And first book published in India, it was the Bible. First book published in India was the Bible. Maximum all the languages, Bible was the first book to publish. Along with this, Portuguese, they also introduced tobacco in India. They also introduced mirchi and coffee crops in India. Mirchi and coffee crops were not known to India of that period. The Indian Army conducted Operation Visay in 1961. They left India. First Europeans came to India were the Portuguese. Last Europeans left India were the Portuguese. This is about Portuguese East India Company. In the next video, we will discuss other European countries. Okay, good luck.